Welcome in, guys, and as we're in the um, we're going back to the edge rushers in this class, and today we're going to talk about Zion Young. He's an edge rusher from Missouri, and let's talk about him. Let's see if really where do I think he's going to rank in the 2026 draft class as an edge rusher. Edge rushers I've talked about in the past. I have done videos on Arvell Reeves and a couple of other guys that I've talked about on the channel. But today we are talking about Zion Young. Games I've seen him on tape were Alabama, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Kansas, Auburn, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. Now his season as a edge rusher in Missouri last season, he had 20 solo 20 solo tackles, and then he was averaging a game was 6.5 a game, so he was averaging pretty good numbers if you really look at it. From his from this past season, he had 6.5 sacks per game in 25, not bad. Again, when you compare that to like Ian Hutchinson, who's got like what was he getting, like 1.7, something like on those lines. So let's talk about his strengths. First off, again, the first thing you look at him when he's on tape is he has a his physicality and his size. Like he's built at 6'5", 6'6", 260 pounds, and again a lot of times he uses his size to his advantage and brings tremendous violence against the quarterback, to get at the quarterback or the offensive line. Like his um, again utilizes his strength fantastically, bringing violence and again great strength to his game. And again, when he's a run defense, when he's playing run defense, like again, he's very disciplined, high level of discipline, an effective run defender. Often that you can see that he can setting as a hard edge, and then uses his strength to again just dominate the opposition. His run defense was one of the top really in college for 2025. Well, especially out of like all the edge rushers in this class, like you're looking at Zion Young, and he had the best run defense grade of everybody in this class. So he's one of these guys that again I'm looking at definitely as a round one pick. I haven't said that for a while, where I'm looking at a prospect here. I know he has these flaws, and we'll get into that in a minute. But he's definitely going to be a late round one pick, in my opinion. I think he's one of those guys. I know I've said recently, oh, they're all day 2, day 3, maybe day 4. But I'm looking at Zion Young, and he's definitely one of those guys that would take it late on in the first round. And no question about it. The weakness. Then we talk about like a couple more things on his like strengths here, but his power rush. He shines as a power rush, and he utilizes it. He has got a great long arm movement, and he's great at bull rushing to collapse the pocket, which is fantastic. He has a high engine about himself, so again, he's a high motor. He's a high effort player who relentlessly can pursue the ball. And then in the Senior Bowl this year, he showed that he can be significant improvement in one-on-one reps, and especially at the Senior Bowl. And he's just really some good upside about him. But again, from a strength side of things, fantastic as a power rusher, high motor, and effectively, he's got effective as a high motor. As a run defense, he's fantastic. Like I've said, his physicality and his size is great for the NFL level. But we'll talk about really his weaknesses here. Limited as a pass rusher. As a run defender is fantastic, but I think as a pass rusher, very limited in his arsenal. There relies heavily too much on the power, and that obviously relies to what I just said about the run game. But his heavily relies on his power. Sometimes he lacks his lack of development, and his fine movements it needs improving. Like he has to spin or a swap when he's like an individual bull rush. Sometimes his individual bull rush will fail. He kind of lacks that elite burst of bend as well. He's not considered like, if you looked at Zion Young, you wouldn't consider him as an elite level explosive as an elite level. He's not like elite level or anything like that as an athlete. Sometimes he struggles to bend or arc his way around the corner, especially against offensive stuff. If there's an offensive lineman on the corner and he's got Zion Young, he's going to get him every time because he's again good at physicality and size, but I think he's just not an elite level athlete at being flexible enough. Like again, size wise, he's built fantastically, but athletically, he doesn't translate well. So that's what I'm saying here. Hand techniques can be a bit hit and miss. Like I said before, his hand techniques can be inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes it can be uncoordinated, and it fails to kind of consistently keep the lineman, kind of really keep the lineman off bay. Kind of, you know, you look at two more here, what I've got on my tape, what I've seen from the tape here. Sometimes again, you're looking at again something that I heard that I looked up online was that in this season 2025 he got in he had an altercation with a he had an altercation in a tunnel with somebody on the field, and then that led him to having a DWI. So he had a DWI, and really, again, I don't want to talk about people's personal stuff on here because this is just a football channel. We talk football and shoot the shit, but he did get a DUI, and people, again, is he kind of a loose cannon where he's good on the field, but he needs a lot of like motivation around him, and he's one of these guys that mentality-wise, he's doing fucked up shit outside on the football field, which is not going to be good. Which is not good for him. Him also getting a DUI last year, DWI, not the best thing, but again, he's young, and hopefully that whatever team he goes to, he has a good unit around him, and they can tell him to just, you know, hopefully make him improve as a person. But yeah, that's kind of one concern I guess you will see. I mean, again, you've got Deshaun Watson who's having a happy ending in these massage parlors, but we're not talking about that, guys. Yeah. And then and the last kind of weakness we're going to talk about here, but is high level, pad level. He's 6'6", and sometimes he can struggle with leverage, especially if you're that big. You're 6'6", struggle with leverage, and sometimes he allows the offense to get under his pad. When his technique isn't the best, well, that's kind of a big concern there. But overall, I do like Zion Young. I like what I've seen on tape. I think he's a very raw talent. That again, if you just focus on his strengths and you kind of limit his weakness or build around his weaknesses, I think this guy is really good, and he's kind of one of few that in this draft have impressed me. And really, I do think he is a late first round pick. I do think if somebody gets him at 30 or 31, I think you've got somebody there that, again, in that defense, in that edge rusher, that could be a good backup, but also can be an impactful guy that you can bring on. Again, his sack numbers are decent numbers for 2025 to 6.5. Not the best, but decent numbers. I wouldn't mind having him. He's got 20 solo tackles, so again, not too bad. Again, people say about his off-field. Again, I've talked about his off-field stuff. So again, if you can really get somebody that can help him off the field and just get his head straight and just focus on the football side of things, you've got a really great edge rusher here. Again, he is limited in some areas, like I've talked about, with his lack of athleticism, and he's very one-dimensional as an edge rusher. So again, I wouldn't have him as a starter. I would definitely have him as one of an edge rusher 2 or something like that. I wouldn't start him as we'll be looking at Zion Young as being a guaranteed starter. But he's definitely physical wise built for the NFL, and yeah, I just think wherever he goes, I think wouldn't put him with a team that needs a lot of defensive work, because if he's the main starter, I don't know. I would put him with maybe an established team, maybe like, I don't know, like the Bills or somebody, or somebody in that kind of ilk. That again, you need again, the Bills need defensive cover, but if you have Zion Young on the bench, as some more depth, I think that's just fantastic. And ultimately, you can learn under, you can learn in Buffalo, or like if you went to, like, you know, if you went to the Chargers or something like that, and he was under like if you learned under Malik Khalil Mack, I don't think that would be a bad decision. But overall, he's a good talent. If you've seen him, hype up the video, guys, and see you later. Bye.